Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, here with a stranger on my screen who I really hadn't talked to since last week's episode of the Two Buck Sports Show. Uncle Buck, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, man, I am just living the dream here in North Mississippi. It has been a beautiful week. It has been a busy week. It's, my wife was telling me today, she was just like, you laugh all the time. You laugh at all of Rusty's jokes, but you don't ever laugh at mine. And I just got to think, it's like, I hadn't talked to Rusty in a minute, so that doesn't count. So, and be funnier. Yeah, and it'll work. I'm a critic for comedy. It's really just got to be really stupid stuff, and it can't make a lot of sense. And so if you follow those guidelines, then you'll get some laughs from me. Yeah. But yeah, it's just been wide open. Coach Buck is back, and we had games 2 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. I mean, it has just been wide open, and I have not, unfortunately, with me playing, coaching ball, you getting ready to move, we're going to use this hour just to catch up. So I hope,
that's
this is just going to be a telephone call for everybody.
Buckle up, because we're going to sit here a while. And when that happens, this liable to be a 3-hour show. Sorry, Bluff City Media. But yeah, we've been busy. We haven't been able to connect. Life gets that way sometimes, right? Even in the best of seasons, and it's not necessarily bad stuff that we're busy with. We're just busy. And it's a good busy on both of our parts, when I'm leaving. And so it's always hard to leave something that you care about and people that you care about. So it's going away parties and going to Wing Wednesday last night and catching up with people as before you leave and then moving, man. Good Lord, all the things that go into moving, right? I just moved cross country in December. Now I'm moving across the state. Here it is in April. And all the expenses that come with that and the logistics and the time. And, big shout out to friends of the podcast, Craig and Maggie in Memphis, for helping me so far, getting everything set up and ready to go and getting things moving. But it's just, moving sucks, man. It makes you tired. Yeah. We're talking about it all fair. Like, I'm already only operating on about 45% of brain capacity, and it's a smooth brain at that, because these crevices ain't real deep. But your boy's tired from all the moving parts and pieces and having my stuff scattered in Myrtle Beach to Martin to Corinth to Memphis. I'm a nomad. I have no home.
I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than moving, in my opinion. It's like the worst part of a vacation. Like, I hate packing for a vacation and unpacking when I get back home. I dread a vacation sometimes because I don't want to pack, and
especially now you're packing for an
multiply
army.
That times 1,000, Oh, yeah. Trust me, I do very little packing for my children. Haley does not trust me to do that. So it's just me, and I don't like it. Yeah. I know when Haley and I first got together, I was living in Starkville and she was in Oxford, and then I spent a semester in Jackson, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And so it was like every weekend you're packing up, coming home, we're packing up and doing something. And then we moved into our first rent house, and we lived there for only like 4 months. Mm-hmm. And what we accumulated over 4 months was just basically a bunch of hand-me-downs in our clothes. Mm-hmm. We had to move that to Ripley when we bought our house. And we had so much stuff at that point, 4 months into the marriage, that I told Haley right then and there, next time we move, we're hiring somebody. We're gonna move smart. We're not just gonna move to gain more debt. We're gonna move it. And part of the deal is we're gonna calculate in with our mortgage how much it's going to cost to have somebody pack up our stuff and move it.
Yeah, no, listen, we're getting older. Me especially, beer and pizza aren't worth a bad back for 3 days to help people move anymore, right? And so when I was moving in from Myrtle Beach, I sold so much stuff. Spoiler alert for some foreshadowing coming up. I'm going to Myrtle Beach next weekend, and I'm going to sell what little bit I have there and trying to move back a couple of things. I really did a good job. It's kind of a bare bones move. I don't have a ton of stuff to move to Memphis, but it's still the logistics of moving. You get in a truck and trailer and loading up and taking it, because I don't have enough stuff to pay somebody to do it, but I have enough stuff that I need a truck and trailer, and I can probably do it in just one trip. But man, just logistics and moving just suck, man. It's
yeah.
for the
And
right
when
reasons.
you're by yourself, you need a friend. You can't do it by yourself. So you haven't called me either. So I guess you've got somebody.
I don't. Again, we haven't talked in a week, so I don't know what you're doing this weekend. But meet me at my dad's house. We'll run up to Mickey. We'll come back to Corinth, and then we'll head to East Memphis.
Yeah. So we will work something out. But yeah, it's just Rusty. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said you're usually my first call when it's time to move. So
I know. I have moved more friends than I can count.
Yeah, so. I mean, especially me with a truck. I'm big, I'm dumb, I have a strong back and a big truck, and so I move people all the time.
So, all right. So we start this show off with not sports stuff typically, and we have kind of gotten into our lives. But in this first segment, we do our Bucks best and our Bucks beef of the week. That's when we rarely talk about sports in this segment, and we just talk about what's griped us in our real life as two friends for a decade now, just gonna vent for a minute. So Rusty, tell me what your best of the week is.
Well, the best of my week is yet to come. Again, I'm changing jobs, but a long time ago I requested some time off, and so I am heading out next Thursday morning, packing up the truck, pointing it east. I'm meeting friend of the podcast Maggie and Jackson, and we are heading to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for 4 days. And so it's going to be
get
nice.
Some help.
I did get some help there, that's for sure, and good looking help at that, man. But we're going to drive out to Myrtle Beach, spend the day, see some friends, eat some eats, go to the beach, enjoy the condo there close to the ocean. It's, as is well noted and documented on this podcast, I have a condo that's a mile from the ocean in Myrtle Beach. And
if anybody needs a place to rent,
that's it. Let me know.
Yeah.
But we're, going to take advantage of that and just get away for a few days and nothing else. And the busyness of the move, it's just like I kept thinking, do I really need to do this? Like, is this the right time with everything being busy? And the answer is absolutely. It's great company. It's a great trip. It's a great just mind release for a little bit. Again, going to try and sell some stuff, be posting some stuff to the Facebook Marketplace, probably tonight or tomorrow to try and sell while I'm there. Going to bring my bed and a couple things back. There's nothing like just that salt air to help just kind of, salve over any stress and worries and just be able to decompress for a few days with, wonderful company and then seeing some good friends, eating some good food. Like, I'm really excited to be away for a few days for sure. So my best is yet to come.
And I can totally relate with that because I feel like right now I need nothing more than for Haley and I to have a night. You know what I'm saying? Like we've got a 6-week-old son. We've got 3 other kids. The 6-week-old son is half the problem that the 2-year-old is right now. I mean, she is firmly in her sassy 2s here, her terrible 2s. And so we have not had just a night, a full night to where we sleep in a hotel or in our bed with nobody in our house, to where we sleep in and not getting up and feeding the baby. Just, I feel like I don't get like a ton of adult conversation in this house right now. And it's just, it's a give and take because I've got a house full of laughter and full of youth and full of fun, and we're busy, and I love every bit of it. But there's always a trade-off. There's always that yin and yang, and the yang for this is, or whichever, is the yin the bad side or yang?
I think the yang is the bad side.
It sounds like yang.
Let us know in the comments where we got it right or wrong.
Yeah. The yang sounds menacing. We're going to say that's the bad side. But the yang of that is that, I'm a creature that needs to be, and don't take this the wrong way. Like, my love language is like physical touch. Just pet me, spend time with me, sit beside me, whatever.
I won't do that.
Not you. No, I don't want it from you. And so, like, when you're running around, it's just like, I just, I need time. Haley's love language just to sit beside her in quality time. So we just need time to sit down beside each other and do nothing. Watch TV, get takeout, whatever. We're not very hard to please. I just need that. So
listen, if you can find somebody to watch those kids, there's room in Myrtle Beach next weekend if y'all want to tag along.
Listen, baby steps here, buckets. Baby steps. We ain't leaving the state yet.
That's probably fair.
Although the next, coming up, if you want to offer that place out when you're not there, Maybe so.
There it is. You don't want to go with me, but you want to go, but just not when I'm there, right?
Find a time when Lauren and Stacy's there and you're not.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, that tracks, and that's probably the best call.
So, my best of the week. We don't really talk about sports on this segment much, so I'll keep it brief. But Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 2 out of 3 in baseball, including a walk-off win on Sunday. And not the kind of walk-off that was like a competitive game. That walk-off took the game from a 9-run lead to a 12-run lead and curtains. So I'm not going to talk about that on this show. So let's just – but, Roxy, tell me your beef of the week.
We've kind of hinted at it so far, dude. It's just busyness, man. Again, just seeing people out, like I feel like every weekend, dude, I probably, I took this job with Dynamics and was here working in Martin, walking to work, I'm like a 6-7 minute walk to work, and I didn't drive for the longest time. But my goodness, this last month, 2 months, I feel like every weekend I'm burning up the roads, man. I'm putting almost as many miles on my truck as I was in Myrtle Beach. And so just busy on the weekends, busy during the week. And it's good busy. Like, don't hear what I'm not saying, right? I enjoy going to see Maggie in Memphis, and I definitely enjoy seeing my nephews play baseball and my family and those kind of things. So don't hear what I'm not saying.
Rank those two experiences. What would you rather see, your nephews or Maggie?
Ooh. Yikes. Wow.
On the record.
Put me on the spot here. On the
nobody
record.
will see it.
Right. Like no fans, nobody. I'll say this. I enjoyed when I was with Maggie watching my nephews play baseball. There's your answer. But just like the busyness, man, that's tearing up the roads, and busyness during the week of seeing friends, and then Shelby, take care of a puppy, which again, I'm not complaining. These are all like, this sounds very much like first world problems, and it is. And I own that, and that's fine.
Right.
But
it's a good problem.
It's a good problem, but this old man is tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just burning that candle and trying to fit everything in. And so I'm looking forward to getting to Memphis. And when I'm in a new, getting a new routine with a new job and new opportunities, and not having to travel as far to see one of the two aforementioned groups that I want to see, Maggie or my nephews. That part will be nice, that I can then kind of combine one of those and then see my nephews as well. It's just a busy season, and it's okay, but I'm just this old man is getting tired.
Yeah, and me and you are cut out of the same cloth in this aspect. It's like it's not that we're homebodies. We like to have fun, but we've got limits. And every once every other week, or once every 3 weeks or something, like, your boy just needs to have a scheduled Saturday off. And that doesn't mean I sit in this recliner right here, my favorite chair in the world, and do nothing, but it may mean I work in my yard, or I do things that I need to do or enjoy doing to take a load off. It may be I go cut my grass, come in and watch an Ole Miss game, then I go, whatever, play with the kids, go to the park, or I just don't need to be running all the time. And my wife is kind of the polar opposite, and it kind of works well because she keeps me from being old, but I kind of have to keep her reined in as well. And so it does clash sometimes, but more times than not, it's just like we even each other out. And so, especially with 4 kids, we've learned that, like, we need to put the brakes on, And so I get what you're saying, man. It's busy. And with 4 kids or no kids, I mean, your 30s are busy. And so, but the alternative is, just laying up, not having any friends, and being not on a log. And that's the worst of the situation.
Right. And that's not who we are. And that's not, like you said, like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm grateful to have great friends here in Martin. Right. I'm grateful to have a place to go visit in Memphis and in Corinth. But I just need me personally, like, agreed. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be this, but like a Saturday where I just throw on my flannel pants and my comfiest t-shirt and sit in a chair and watch TV. Normally that's the Masters for me, but I was traveling last weekend and doing stuff and getting things ready to move and all that. And so I didn't get to sit in my chair and watch the Masters like I normally do every year. And so looking forward to just a day where I can just get in my comfies, my fuzzy Crocs, my coffee, and just enjoy just serenity and not have to be like chasing my tail all weekend.
Yeah, that would have been my best of the week if I did get the opportunity to do that. It turns I 100%. Didn't really get that. I mean, Sunday was a nice chill day. I did watch a good portion of the Masters. I watched a good portion of a baseball game that we won't talk about later. And
No.
But then like I said, the yin and yang between me and my wife, she was like, let's go on a walk. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, really? Like, I want to sit here. But then I'm like, the kids are in a good mood. You're having fun. Okay, quit being an old curmudgeon. Put your AirPods in and listen to the game while you walk. So,
it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So, yeah. So my beef of the week. So, we're not going to talk about this baseball game that happened, or the baseball games this weekend. Not going to talk about it. But I went Friday night and we got beat 8-0. Oh, Mississippi State just beat Ole Miss like a drum. We'll talk about it never, not later in the show. But then Saturday night, separate beef, my wife signed my daughter up for another beauty pageant, which is just the bane of my existence. I hate the whole thing. I support her because my daughter, Chloe, loves them. But I told her, I was like, the first time that you let the outcome of this beauty pageant affect how you see yourself, never again. I won't do it. I won't let her do it. I will put my foot down as her father. These things are not real life, and you're not going to call yourself ugly. That hasn't happened, so, whatever. So I didn't go Saturday. Sunday, it worked out great. We were going to go to church here in Ripley. The Baptist church here in Ripley starts at 9 o'clock, which is, if you're going to start a church service, start at 9 o'clock. We out of there like 10:30. Perfect.
Position A.
And so a friend of ours' daughter was getting baptized. We're like, yes, we'll be there, of course. And so I was like, and that also works out because Ole Miss plays at 1.
Yeah.
And so I'll catch game 3. Well, in church, I get a call. As you know, I'm a Power Ranger. I'm an electrical engineer. It is my job to keep the lights on in Tippah County. And I get a call from a lineman on a bright, beautiful, sunny Sunday morning, not a cloud in the sky, saying, I think a substation's out. They called me saying that the world has ended in Faulkner, Mississippi. So I was like, oh, crap. So I hang up. I'm looking on my phone, seeing what's out. About that time, I see the other lineman that's on call is in church there. He stands up, walks out. And I was like, I just handed the keys to my wife. I said, take the van home. I'm getting in the truck with Scott. He'll take me home to get my truck. I'm going to work. And so had the substation down on Sunday morning on the prettiest day of the year, and missed out going to the Ole Miss baseball game. And so that was a bummer.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss run ruled Mississippi State. Not the run rule. I mean, not the walk-off, that signals a close game, but a walk-off that took Ole Miss from a 9-run lead to a 12-run lead in a series that's tied 1-1 against Mississippi State. But yeah, we won't talk about that though. But yeah, I didn't get to go Sunday because I had to work. And so job security, buddy.
Yeah, go Power Rangers, man. I'm proud of you for doing your job on a Sunday when I was not. And I was not watching baseball, that's for sure. I was watching it, and then I checked it again on the app, and I was like, give me more than Masters. Let's see what's going on.
The Masters. We'll talk about the Masters in the third segment. That's a good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We don't have anything planned for our third segment. No spoilers, but we're gonna hash this out as we go, guys.
That's it, because guys, listen, quick. I know Drew's got some stuff we'll probably want to share, but like this is kind of coming up the season, right, where the Grizz have winded down. They're in Cabo. They've got tea times. Like they done, right? Like it's over. We got some great basketball that we'll talk about coming up at the second segment, but like this is a season where we're gonna get goofy. And this is where buffoonery happens. Like if you're an OG day one, you know what's coming, right? We've got Mount Rushmores. We've got snake drafts. We've got special guests. We've got things planned coming up this off season, but we need your help. Guys, we get on here. We harp about it every week about joining the Discord, like join Bluff City Media. It's really a great investment. It's really an easy thing to do. Hop on there. We're on the Discord. Uncle Buck and I have our own channel, the 2 Buck Sports Show, on there where you can ask us questions. We're going to put in polls. We're going to put in drafts or ideas or topics that y'all want to hear about, and let us know. Come interact with us, but not only just us, but we're like the low-hanging fruit, right? Like we're the guys, rednecks from North Mississippi, but you've got guys in there like Anthony Sane, Daniel Greer, you've got Kenny Stubblefields, you've got Nathan Quall, Sean Coleman, guys who've been doing this for a long time that are a lot better at this than us. And you get to hang out with them as well and pick their brain about sports and hear what they have to say and thoughts about their favorite teams, your favorite teams, sports happenings. Guys, it's $5 a month. It's not that much to come hang out with. Not only us, listen, most people, we have to pay to be our friends, right?
Right.
We're not asking you to pay to be our friends. We're just asking you to support a great company that gives you phenomenal content. You know, Uncle Buck and I were on a call last night with some of them and just like hearing some of the ideas that were being spun in there and the creativity in that room and just the talent that's in this network is second to none. And so $5 a month is an easy way in to hang out with some great content creators who know basketball, who know the Grizz, who know the Redbirds or 901 soccer that's coming up, the Memphis Football Club. Like there's some guys in there that know their stuff. And so $5 a month, join the Discord and help us, right? Because we want to interact with our fans. We want to give the content that y'all want. And that's one way that we can interact is through the Discord where you can hang out with us two buffoons.
And I'll add to this, I know a lot of people from our neck of the woods, a lot of people came with us to Bluff City Media, and you are not, I'm speaking to the people from our area, you're not University of Memphis tied. You may not even be huge Grizzlies fans. In that Discord, we've got college football, we've got MLB, we've got fantasy football, betting, anything that you like, there's a thread in there for that. So don't think that, oh, I don't like the Memphis Tigers, I don't like the Memphis Grizzlies, it's not for me. It is for you. There is something for you. And I'll put my money where my mouth is. Rusty will back me up on this. But if you join this Discord, send us a screenshot. We'll cover your first month. Just send us your Venmo. Send us a screenshot, your username. We'll shout you out in our group. We really think this is a untapped gem that we've got here with the Discord that we really want to use. We're getting into the silly season. We're going to I have dreams of doing AMAs or listener questions or advice. Give me your problem and let Buckets and I mash our smooth brains together and give you advice. You know, I've got these visions, but we need some input from you guys. And we would love to put our money where our mouth is. Sign up, send us your username, send us your Venmo. We'll cover your first month. Like I said, after that, I mean, if $5 is a real struggle for you going forward, just let us know. You know, we ain't made money, but it's important to us. So let us help you out.
And we're not just being company men by this. There's some really funny, high quality content on there. I love getting there and like, especially with the NFL draft coming up, there's a whole NFL thread with people who post tweets and updates that you can't possibly keep up with all by yourself. Looking at the thousands and millions of Twitter accounts out there. It's a condensed it's a condensed place to find the information that you're looking for, all for less than a Starbucks coffee. I mean, you can't beat it. It's a great opportunity to again, get to know some cool people, help us with the show. Our OG fans have been great on Instagram. That's still going to happen. Absolutely. We're going to bring some of that stuff back, but the Discord's where it's really going to go down. No longer going down in the DM. Shout out Yo Gotti. It's going down in the Discord.
There you go. So let me tell you guys about an advertiser, one that's near and dear to my heart. It is one Vicky Gann CPA. I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Vicky Gann CPA. Vicky Gann, if the name sounds familiar, it's because she is my mother. Vicky Gann has 25 years of experience as a certified public accountant. She offers accounting service, income taxes, tax preparation, payroll tax, QuickBooks help, troubleshooting, setup, whatever you need, whatever you want. Vicky Gann can help you out with it. I know it is post April 15th. And so tax season is quote unquote done. However, I know that there are tons of people that listen to this show that filed extensions, put this off, whatever. Vicky Gann's job is not done when April 15th happens. So there's still opportunities for you to let her help you out. You can contact her at 662-415-6446 or email her at Vicky Gann CPA. That's VICKIGANN CPA@gmail.com. When you talk to her, let her know that you heard about her on the $2 Sports Show, and it'll make her day. It'll make our day. And don't think that if you are not living in Mississippi that you can't use her, because as you and everybody else knows at this point, like, you don't have to live in the same city to get services done by somebody. You know, this is a lot of this is done over the phone, over email. It can be done, and I promise you she will do it well. So contact Vicky Gann, CPA, 662-415-6446.
Not just the level of individual talent that he plays, but it's also the level of his mind. We haven't gotten cross-court open shot this year. We haven't seen that pass a lot. Number one, you got to respect him going to the basket. There's a roller. I got to watch the roller. He has the mind to be able to say, I see all of that, but now I see this guy over here. I'm going to get him this open shot. How shifty he is to always be going forward. It's usually side to side. Yeah. His dribble moves are side to side, but going forward. Right. Which is very hard to defend. I just want to get you, as many times can I get you to do this? But for him, it's not here. It is here, which is with are his moves to get down the floor. It's awkward for a defender to try to catch a cadence. You dribble. So now what I do is now when you go put that ball down, I'm going for it. But with him, there's no, it's hard for my cadence. But what's my cadence for you? I don't know what it is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who do you need to step it up? Outside of David Jones, I think David Jones is David Jones.
I don't think you need him to step it up because he's been performing.
Yeah, like he's David Jones. Like outside of him, he's fine.
I think Quinterly needs to play better.
In what way? Like, I mean, he's facilitating the ball well. I mean, what do you, like, I don't...
To a 12 from the field's not cutting it.
It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't need a runner 3 from the top of the key with 3.5 seconds left.
Is Virginia the game where Jordan Brown is going to cook? Those dudes aren't looking to run the ball.
Cook what? Dude, I thought he was going to have a freaking night. He came out with that fresh cut, lined up. And then literally within the first 15 seconds, missed a wide open layup. And then picked up 2 fouls right away.
I feel real lied to because I thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy.
Didn't think it did anything for you.
Well, I think
we all thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy. And we are getting that in David Jones.
I'm not even getting 20 or 10 minutes out of the guy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. In this segment, we always talk about your Memphis Grizzlies, who are no longer playing competitive basketball, but are still in the news, right? As we're headed into the summer, we got the playoffs, the NBA Finals, the NBA Draft is right around the corner. A lot of movement is happening for the Grizz. You know, there's a lot of questions, right? Like, we finished the season knowing kind of what our starting lineup is going to be next year, sans the 5 position. But we did see on Twitter this week, in an ironic timing by one Tyus Stones-Jones, former backup point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies, tweeting out Memphis love, which got me thinking, Drew, there's a lot of options and moving parts for that backup point guard position next year. I think I've got my opinion on who I think it should be. What are your thoughts on that backup position for the Memphis Grizzlies?
So you want to start with backup point guard?
I think so. Yeah, we'll get to there's the obvious elephant in the room. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think we need one. That's my take here. I think that we've got some undersized players for the guard spot. You know, typically your prototypical guard right now in the NBA is, 6'5" to 6'6", and we don't have that big guard really. I mean, Vince Williams maybe, but he's not a point guard. But I think what I dream of when I'm thinking of Grizzlies and their rotations is I'm hoping that Ja Morant sees, 33 to 35, 36 minutes a game. And if that's the case, then I think you just use Marcus Smart as the backup point guard. And you can use him as a backup point guard without him, with him still starting, Sure. Because you've got some depth there, especially if you bring back Kennard. You do this thing where you start Smart, but he's, he goes to the bench first and comes in to spell Ja, say the 4-minute mark in the first half or first quarter, like they normally do. So that's what I would do. I'm not really antsy to see a big move made for a backup guard. Now, we're also talking about this before the draft, which everything is going to change. You've got the possibilities for seismic shifts during draft time, especially for the Grizzlies, who are kind of always, it kind of seems about time if they're going to make a huge move that they make one. So then that obviously opens up some more possibilities with, taking back some salaries or, you're giving away some salaries. So given the guard rotation we've got now with Ja and Desmond and Vince and Kennard and Derrick Rose and Vince Williams, like out of those, like mix and match those. I like all of them for their own particular reasons. You've got some shooting there. You've got some defense there. You've got some playmaking there. You've got Ja Morant's a superstar. And so if you're talking point guard, I understand why they didn't pay Tyus Jones, because ideally, Ja's playing 35 minutes a game. And so you're like, do you really pay $10 million a year for a guy when Ja's only going to be on the bench for 13 minutes a game? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's where,
and if you get in a pinch, I love the three-ways we've got right now. I want Scottie Pippen on a three-way. I want Jordan Goodwin on a three-way. And so two-way. I'm sorry. You get 3 two-ways. And so of those 2 ways, I really love Pippen and Goodwin to be 2-way guys. And so if you get in a pinch again, you've got those guys. I like them.
That was going to be my point. Like, I love Scottie Pippen Jr. I love that we have him locked up for another year on that 2-way deal. And then you see what you got, right? Because Derrick Rose, the reality is, like, he didn't play a ton this year.
Right.
Does he play a ton next year? Who knows? Probably his last year in Memphis, because it's the last year of his deal. Then is Marcus Smart somebody that we're then looking to ship out if we have another need next all season, right? Because then you've got decisions. You got a lot of flexibility, because right now Scottie Pippen Jr. isn't costing you a ton of money nor a permanent roster spot because he's on that 2-way. Right. I'm a bigger fan of having Lamar Stevens on that other 2-way. We know Trey Jemison has the third one because he's got a 2-year deal as well. I think that's fine. He's a big body and can develop. He showed some flashes. He also showed that he's pretty rough. But Lamar Stevens fits kind of that. He's at like 4'5". He's undersized, but he's just like, when he's in the game, good things happen. I like Jordan Goodwin. Yeah. He's a good player. I like Jordan Goodwin. I would have this. We're talking about the 17th man on the roster here. I have no beef if they go either way. Personally, for me, I like Lamar Stevens a little bit better because he fills the need that we have of just that big body, aggressive post player. Because we're very deep in that 2-3, which is weird because we've got a ton of boneless wings that we're going to need to move. Shout out Anthony Sane. A couple of them, Zaire won't be back next year. Ginny won't be back next year. Jake from Wake, sorry, Drew, probably won't be back next year. Personally, I'd rather see Lamar Stevens, but yeah, I think we're in a good position. I think we're solid at the backup point guard with options because Luke can do it, Dez can do it, Marcus can do it, and then having Scottie Pippen on that 2-way is a great filler for us that like break glass in case of emergency type player.
Right. I think Lamar Stevens, I'm in the fan club as well. I just don't think you're going to get him on a 2-way. I think he's too highly regarded in the locker room as a glue guy and as a kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of player. He's kind of super, super light Draymond. He can play bigger than his size. He does everything. And what he does a lot of times does not show up in the stat sheet, And so I think that there's a role there for him. I'm just so skeptical to say like this is what our lineup is going to be and kind of map it out because I just really don't know what Kleiman's doing here because I think there's a very real possibility, we're going to, maybe this is a good time to transition into the next question, which is the center position, which is the obvious gap. You called it the elephant in the room. The center position can go a lot of different ways. And if you go trade for somebody like, say they're just convinced that Nick Claxton is your guy, well, you're going to have to give up a lot to get Nick Claxton. Yep. And so that opens up roster spots that, then you kind of reshuffling it again. And then the other option is, you get the, say, 7th pick in the draft and you go get Donovan Clingan or the guy from Baylor. Isn't that the big,
or the kid
big guy?
There's or Khalil Ware from Indiana. There's some big bodies out there. Personally, if it's me, if I'm Zach Kleiman again, we don't know what he's got cooking, but something's cooking. There's some names that keep popping up a lot on Twitter. Claxton has been one for a long time that keeps popping up. Andre Drummond's got a little bit of traction lately, which I don't love. He's a little bit older. He's a lug, but he's going to give you a small amount. I really like Isaiah Hartenstein from New York.
Oh, yeah.
He's a stud. He's a name that's really started coming up a lot recently in Grizz draft or Grizz trade rumors and options. Dude, if we got him, and I saw him play live, he just moves so well. My cousin Jim and I were sitting courtside for that game because we snuck down there for that.
You're welcome.
But watching him move, man, he's such a player, and he would fit so well in our system because he runs the court really well, he distributes the ball really well, he's a plus defender. And he's a bucket.
He's a good pick and roll guy. Great
pick and roll guy, and would fit the system with Ja and Dez and Marcus running that pick and roll. I think he would be a phenomenal pickup, and one that, like, the more I see his name pop up, the more I'm like, it's probably smokescreen and just hopeful, pie in the sky, wishful thinking. But darn, he'd look good in Beale Street Blue.
Yeah, and I don't know what his contract situation is. That's not my cup of tea. So if you could fill us in when you find it,
he's got Let's see. He's
is he an unrestricted free agent coming into this offseason?
He's on a $16 million deal. Come on, ESPN. Yes, he'll be an unrestricted free agent going into next. This is last year on his deal.
So 23-24 is the last year.
24-25 is the last deal. Is the last year. Next year is his last year on his deal.
So is this year a team option? Or does he have he may be into restricted free agency then
this year
season. And so I don't know how that works. That's not my cup of tea. However, I do like Isaiah Hartenstein. Out of the options, I probably like him more than Claxton. I definitely like him more than Drummond. I also probably like Drummond a little bit for the price, a little bit better than Claxton.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what they do. I do know that they're going to do something. Zach Kleiman said in his exit interviews earlier this week that he knows it is an option, and he knows that it is a need, and that they have options to do it, and they've got a game plan. And so I think that we'll see. And in Kleiman, I trust King Kleiman. I trust him, and which is a weird spot to be in. I still haven't quite gotten used to it, although it is a good feeling. And so I know that we're going to go into next season with a new big.
Especially because that Marc Gasol documentary was triggering. Like, it brought up some old repressed feelings that made me very angsty around the Grizzly off seasons. But Kleiman has made nothing but smart moves. Obviously, everybody is afforded a miss here and there. David Roddy, like, these guys just hadn't panned out like we thought they would, is what it is. But then you've got Gigi Jackson, who is essentially a lottery pick this year, right? Like, we have our lottery pick. So I'm very much like team trade the draft pick. I love Donovan Clingan. I think he would be a great big in the future, but he's a project because he's skinny. He's got to learn the game. I don't know that we have the right mentorship for him in the post because a lot of our post players are young. Jaren can teach him some, but he's not a true 5. We don't have that Steven Adams type that can mentor him. I'm very much, unless we just hit and get super lucky and get one of the top 3 picks in the draft by some miracle, which we have before, right? You're not celebrating getting the number 2 pick. John Moran is a Memphis Grizzly because we were not projected to be a top 3 pick that year, and we're the number 2 pick. You get one of those, I think you start having different conversations about keeping that pick, drafting what's best, who's best or best available at that point. But if you land around 6, 7, and there's a team that has a need for a Donovan Clingan that can have that time for a project, you start looking to move that and see if you can't kick the tires of a Hartenstein or a Drummond or a Naz Reid or a Nick Claxton or a Wendell Carter Jr. in Orlando, or if they blow it up in Cleveland. If they start trying to blow it up in Cleveland, that first phone call is Jared Allen. That kid is a freaking beast.
You'd go Allen over Evan Mobley?
Ooh,
I think I would.
I would. I love Allen's game. And plus, he just looks the part with that big fro and that headband. He looks like the guy from NBA Street. Like, I'm here for it. I would absolutely call Jared Allen in a heartbeat.
It's an exciting offseason, and it's because you've got your key pieces to go and compete.
Yeah.
We haven't talked much about the exit interviews, but basically everybody, all the stars that got up there said, we're going to compete next year. Like, we had a horrible injury-riddled season.
Yeah.
However, none of those injuries are going to linger into the start of next season. It was said Ja Morant should be full go halfway through the offseason. Yeah. And so we're going to get some time to get a runway to get completely and totally ready for October of 24 when this season kicks off. And we're going to do that with a new piece. And I'm not really stressing too much about it because I know that it'll work out. And if at very minimum, I think they get a big. And if it is that, they just decide that a move doesn't need to be made and they're going to get Donovan Clingan or the dude from Indiana, and then we're going to run it back with the majority of the roster we've got now, I still feel really good about competing in the West.
Yeah, I mean, Kleiman said that Jaren can play more of the 5. It's a position that he can play, and he's not wrong. He can play it. He's not a great rebounder. He is what he is. We need some rebounding help, and if that's Clingan or Ware or that G League kid that I'm forgetting his name, supposed to be one of the first 2 picks, if he's one of those cats, great. Again, in Kleiman I trust. There's a reason he drafted those dudes. Right. But I think with the talent that we have, we've talked about our second-round draft picks. It's April, and the NBA draft's still a ways away. Probably not talking about second-round draft picks too much, but we're going to hit on those. That's where we get a lot of our talent in BC and GG and these guys. But I think with the depth that we have, and that's a weird thing to talk about for Memphis because we haven't always had that, I think we're looking at a situation where we're going to package some of those with that first round, probably a Zaire and a Jake LaRavia, and go after a splash trade when we do that, right? Because historically the Grizzlies are big draft week movers. That's when we make our wheeling and dealing, and I fully anticipate this year to be the same thing.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You want nothing more than have Jake LaRavia shipped off. And if Jake LaRavia is on that roster, I'm buying a jersey.
No, have Haley buy the jersey. Buy it for Haley because
no, I'm buying the jersey. I'm buying the jersey just because you hate him so much.
I don't hate him, man. I have no hate in my heart for him. He's just not he's had a good month of the season.
I know, but You made up your mind too soon. There's no reason to have this much hate based on – you've got to have come around just a fuzz. You've got to have a little doubt. And if you don't have a little doubt, then you're just stubborn.
Okay. Whose minutes is he going to take? Whose
minutes
are you going to give up?
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying you are adamant that he sucks. And I'm just saying you should have some – I'm not saying he should get minutes. I'm not saying – again, we're still talking about the 12th to 15th person on the bench here. You're just so adamant that he sucks. And I'm just telling you, based on the last month, you've got to say there's something.
I've said that. Not on this show. It's documented on the Daily Grind that I said that there is some talent there, that it's been nice to see him hoop. But all I think he's doing is making a great highlight film for him to be a trade asset. I was right about David Roddy. You probably never admit that. I'm going to be right about Jake LaRavia.
He's
not going to be an NBA player. And for me, I think about it this way, Drew. Even if he's that 12th or 13th man, somebody's minutes are going to have to be taken by Jake LaRavia. And there's not too many people above him that I would say, he needs to get Marcus's minutes, or he needs to get Gigi's minutes, or he needs to get Vince's minutes.
But I'm telling you, what I'm saying is you've got to have a 15th person on the bench. And I don't think you're going to find a better 15th person on the bench that has a little bit of something in the tank. You can want to trade him, but you're still somewhere down. You're going to have a 15th person on the bench, and they're probably not going to be as good as Jake LaRavia.
I hope they're better. But if it's Jake LaRavia, again, I'm not going to beat my chest and tear my shirt. If it's Jake LaRavia, I just think he serves us better as a trade asset. Like we talked about this document on the show, right? Somebody out there is looking at him like the ex-boyfriend saying, you know what? I can fix her. And maybe he's a project for Cleveland, or maybe he's a project for the Knicks. Go to New York under the bright lights, Madison Square Garden. Go ahead and send us Hartenstein back. It'll be a great trade. Everything will work out well.
Yeah. Or maybe Taylor Jenkins fixed him, and this is him now. New and improved. Jake from Wayne.
I don't know. Listen, we had the same thing. John Lure had a great month, and then he was trash. So
yeah, that was a mistake. That's a Chris Wallace mistake.
It is, but I'm burned on lanky white dudes who can shoot a little bit because John Lure had broke my heart. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough grist off for now. Any thoughts? I know we kind of talked a little bit about some of the playing games. There've been some good games. I think it's the end of an era, and I'm here for it. As much as Klay Thompson has talked crap, and as much as the Warriors have been a bane in our side, in 2022, like we would have 100% beat those fools if we hadn't gotten hurt, guys hadn't run out of gas. It was really nice to watch Klay Thompson go 0 for 10 the other night and watch them get beat. I mean, I loved every second of that.
I'm telling you, I did not watch any of the Eastern Conference play-in games. I did watch both of the Western Conference, and I told Luke on the Daily Grind on Monday, my hope for these play-in games was that the Lakers and the Kings and Pelicans get the 7 and 8 seed, and the Lakers and Warriors get bit because they keep, just coasting through the regular season and not taking it seriously and turning it on just enough to get in the play in, and then they make a run. They've never gotten bit for it before. And dang it, if it didn't happen again, the Lakers blow a big lead. Zion at home was unbelievable until he got hurt.
I know.
Like 3 minutes ago, and it was over. And you felt the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, just like collective gasp, just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And now he's not going to play tomorrow night in the second round to compete for the 8th seed. But it did happen. The end of the era, the book is, this era is over for Golden State Warriors with them losing and getting beat bad by a Kings team. And that game was in Sacramento. And so, but they were down Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet, and Malik Monk. They had kind of went down the tubes late with those 2 big injuries on their wings. And for them to go and just beat the tar out of Golden State, Klay Thompson go 0 for whatever.
0 for 10.
Getting really upset about reporters asking him about his future and him just wanting to be in the moment, despite 2 years ago him living in the past while sitting on the bench against the Grizzlies, holding up, counting his rings, So he can live in the past, but you're not allowed to look forward into an offseason that is the most uncertain offseason he's ever been in. And so I think that chapter's over. Golden State is done. I think they rebuild around Steph and or Draymond, but I don't think Klay's there. I would lean to think that Draymond's probably going to, just because how long can you put up with that?
Yeah. And if they keep him and they want to move Kuminga, that's another great big that I would love to have in Memphis. That kid he's a great
wing, big wing. Yeah. I like Kuminga.
Um,
I like Moses Moody.
Yeah.
From Arkansas.
Yeah.
So
I really like Sabonis for Sacramento. I love watching that dude. He looks like he belongs in like a H&R Block commercial or like he's a suit and tie doing your taxes. Shout out Vicky Gann, the CPA. Yeah. But then he just gets buckets and boards, man. He's so much fun to watch him play. And so I'm glad I get to watch more of him. And I talked about this on the Daily Grind this week. Like if Malik Monk and those cats in Sacramento can get healthy, in a Western Conference, it's not super deep. It's kind of like Denver and everybody else. I think they can make some noise. If they play Denver first round, that sucks. Sorry, man. But or as soon as they play Denver, it's over, right?
The Lakers got Denver.
So they would get OKC, which I think they would give trouble to. I think they can I'm not a big believer in OKC whatsoever.
They don't have the scars yet.
No, they're like us, and we got that 2 seed the first time. Like we just didn't have the playoff savvy, and the Kings are scrappy. They got Harrison Barnes who can light fire at any moment. I think the Kings can beat Oklahoma. Now I don't know if they can get out of the second round, but they can upset the number 1 seed Thunder and advance. And then in the Eastern Conference last night, we had the 76ers and the Heat playing, which was a great game. The 76ers won late by 1 point. I thought Jimmy Butler had a tib fracture in his leg, was just completely decimated by Kelly Oubre, who's just had a wild last month of the season. But he was able to limp around and kind of finish the game. But to no avail because the Sixers won by 1 point. And so great basketball game. That 76ers Knicks series is going to be
10 out of 10.
TV. Yeah. Must watch TV.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 on that. I couldn't have picked a better first round series out of the East. And so I don't really care who wins between Heat and I guess that'd be
Atlanta
Heat and Raptors.
Chicago.
I was thinking DeRozan. Yeah, Chicago, not Toronto. And the winner of them, goes and plays Boston. Don't care. But yeah, to go back to the West for just a second, I think if you're the Lakers, you would have much rather lost and tried to get Oklahoma City instead of playing Denver again. Denver swept the Lakers last season in the Western Conference Finals. Right. They've swept them so far this season. They have not won a game against Denver. They're 0-4 against Denver. They're 0-4 against Sacramento, and they're 1-3 against Houston. And Houston, all three of those have one thing in common, and they have big men who can pass and facilitate. And so I think Denver's just a horrible matchup. But as a competitor, I don't think the Lakers, you can afford to, in the play-in, kind of jockey for seeding. You've got to win when you get the chance to win, because
here's why
there was a possibility you get ousted if you lose on purpose.
Right. And two, they look tired. Like LeBron didn't look himself. AD's made a paper mache and he didn't look good either. They looked tired. And I think had they lost on purpose and then had to turn around and play, the winner of the Kings and Warriors, I think then you're in a position where you're having to play a lot more basketball than you really want to. And so by winning, yes, you get Denver, but you also get a chance to rest your horses and maybe get, a spry LeBron, or maybe AD will bounce back a little bit and play some better basketball instead of just being completely gassed going into an OKC series that you could win, but you have no energy left and you lose a series that you could win.
Yeah. And to play devil's advocate just a little further with the Lakers, you'd probably rather get Denver in the first round, because if you're going to lose to Denver in the playoffs one way or the other, then lose in the first round when everybody's fresh. You don't want to go get the 8th seed, have a fight against a really young, talented, fresh Oklahoma City team, and then say they take you, that game series goes to 6 or 7, and then you have to play the Nuggets. Yeah, that's not a good recipe.
You get swept and embarrassed.
Yeah, so I think that real quick, my favorite series off both sides, I think that Mavericks Clippers on the West, must see TV.
Yep.
And I think that we've already alluded to it. Knicks Sixers on the East.
I won't miss a game of that. Yeah. Maggie, we're going to be watching a lot of the Knicks and Sixers over the next few weeks. It's going to be next week and a half. It's going to be some great basketball. I love the Knicks and what they're doing there. Again, obviously, I'm a big fan of Hardenstein. Talked about that. I love that they're Villanova, north, I guess, with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. Maybe. Like northeast, wherever. I don't know where Villanova is.
Those northeast states get real backwards. It
gets real foggy up there. Like I know where Maine is. It's kind of jumbled around.
It's south of Maine.
That's it. South of Maine. I can pick out New York on a map. Then it gets real jumbled from there. And I was the 8th grade geography bean champ, and so it's still muddy for me up there.
Brag.
But hey, listen, that was 30 years ago. But whatever. But yeah, so I love watching Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, those guys play. So. Watch NBA basketball, watch the playoffs, talk about it with us in the Discord, and then we'll see. We're going to wrap up the show after the commercial break. We really don't have anything to talk about after the commercial break. We'll talk about the Masters, Scottie Scheffler's masterful job at the Masters, and then we're not going to talk about anything else. So see y'all on the other side.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now, I might not like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man to say, this is how we think we're gonna play you, bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understand. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game. Right. All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man. Yeah, you got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly what. And if I'm out there doing it and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping this logo. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. All right, Christian.
Yes.
You are Penny Hardaway.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Today, you're going to play act, okay? Gabe, because you're a Jordan Brown apologist, you're going to be Jordan Brown.
I'm a Jordan Brown apologist. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Y'all are sitting across the room from each other.
I said, don't tweet him hate. And he's like, you're an apologist. Like, good God. But either way, continue. We're in a room together.
Why did things break down?
Jordan, we brought you in this year to be the centerpiece of our offense. You came in out of shape. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. We play fast. Told you this when we were recruiting you. We play fast. One of the fastest paces in the country. You have to be able to get up and down the floor. You have failed at that.
Oh, well, I'm leaving. So it's fine. Cool.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show, where my colleague has decided to change clothes for something we're not even going to talk about. Like, there's nothing to talk about here. So, Uncle Buck, you want to take the floor, get this out of your system before we get too deep into it?
I don't have anything to talk about. Certainly not that the Ole Miss Rebels took 2 out of 3 against your Mississippi State Bulldogs in Oxford, Mississippi this weekend. We're not going to talk about, definitely not going to talk about Ole Miss getting routed on Friday night with me in attendance, or about Kyle Steven being incredible and 2 hitting the Rebels in the 8 innings. Not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about how 2 high school junior varsity baseball teams played on Saturday.
Neither of them wanted to win.
So we're not going to talk about the fact that Mississippi State blew a 7-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning to let Ole Miss tie, blow a 1-run lead in the 10th, and blow another 1-run lead in the 11th for Ole Miss to win
in the 12th
late on Saturday night. I
actually stayed up to watch. Shout out to me.
Yeah, I did too. We were texting, and I told him that said, if you guys beat us, you still suck.
And I'm standing in Maggie's bedroom watching it, just like, this is dumb. Like, I can't believe I'm up this late. B, we're fixing to lose this baseball game.
Why is college baseball starting at 7:30 at night when every game takes 4 hours?
Thank you.
Ole Miss has played 2 extra inning baseball games all year. One of them started at 10 o'clock Central Time, opening night against Hawaii. And the other one started at 7:30 local time and ended, about the time that, I'd normally get up to feed the kid for the first time at night.
I think that game, that Saturday night game should be a 4 p.m. first pitch. That's the perfect time. You got all day to grill. 4 p.m. is perfect. Even if it goes extra, you're done by 10 o'clock and you can call it a night.
Yeah. And then Sunday, I didn't get to go, unfortunately. But then Ole Miss just decided to beat the ever-living snot out of that school that wears that dirty brown color in Starkville, Mississippi. The school that is on my diploma. However, I did not play baseball there. But they beat them like the redheaded stepchild that they are. I mean, just mashed and mashed and mashed. The final score ended up being a paltry 14-2. And it was a mercy killing. We put you out of our misery via a 3-run home run by Will Furness, Oppo Taco, in the bottom of the 7th inning to let you. I mean, we were really just helping you out. We're not going to keep them for another hour. Let them get back to their pigsty in Starkville at a reasonable hour. We kept you up late on Saturday night to beat you. So we're going to send you home early on Sunday.
Get you some of your minutes back. I love in a corporate meeting, all right, I'm going to give you some of your day back. Like, thanks for the 4 minutes, Yeah.
Why don't you just do this in an email instead?
Yeah, exactly. We ain't got to worry about it. But you got that out of your system.
I could have told you on Thursday night that you're going to lose 2 out of 3 games against the Ole Miss Rebels. Would you have watched a single pitch all weekend?
No, not a one. Because even in the win, even if you told me we would have won in dominant fashion the one game, I'd be like, I don't want to watch it because the other ones break my heart. And Chris Simonis should no longer be the head ball coach of Mississippi State. It doesn't serve a great purpose to fire him now. You don't want to like thrust Justin Parker or anybody into that position now. But Lemonis has no business being the head baseball coach at Mississippi State next year. None whatsoever.
You know,
like,
it's funny.
You got to get these guys ready at some point. This is a rivalry game, and we just didn't look ready. We didn't have any fight. We had no grit. We showed nothing other than roll over on Sunday and get the ever-loving break speed off of us. And I mean, I'm over it, man. Like, he won a national championship with somebody else's talent, and he hadn't done jack since then. I'm over it, man. Lemonis is out. That's all I'm talking about Mississippi State baseball today because I'm angry. We're in a complicated relationship. Go beat Auburn this weekend, but I'm angry.
It's funny what losing a series to your rival does, because I can't remember what it was like to beat Mississippi State in a series. The best we've done is split 2-2 with a Governor's Cup win. Okay.
Right.
And so, but I never, and I'm being honest here because it is important in some sports, but it probably because Mike's been here for 21 years now. Losing to Mississippi State has not ever been the reason why anybody's wanted Mike fired. You know, and he hasn't done a good job lately. You know, in 2014, he was going to get fired and went to College World Series. In 2022, he was going to get fired and he won the College World Series. And none of that was – it never felt like the Mississippi State series was the one that broke the camel's back like it did. It did feel this way. Every Mississippi State fan I talked to this week was like, this is it. I mean, despite the fact that State is still 7-9 in the SEC, squarely in it, Ole Miss still has a lot of work to do being at 5-10. And so
that's the kicker. Like, we didn't look prepared against them. This is the worst Ole Miss baseball team in years. You have 3 catchers who can't catch. Like, we just couldn't hit the baseball. We couldn't do anything on Saturday from about the 7th inning on and then all day Sunday. We couldn't do nothing. And it's just like at some point, you're not getting the guys ready. Maybe you're not the one. Maybe it's time to move on and find somebody else because, you know, we were 3 outs away from sweeping Florida. We were competitive with A&M and things felt really good. But then you lose to Central Arkansas in the midweek. You get blown out. And then you beat Georgia, which was great. But then, like the rivalry game, like you got to at least look competitive. And we didn't after the 7th inning and then not on Sunday at all. They sent Starkville Academy out there to play Ole Miss. And Starkville Academy probably would have played better on Sunday. You got an opportunity to right the ship this weekend against Auburn. But like, it's just when you're losing midweeks and you're losing to a bad Ole Miss team, like 3 years into this, 4 years into this, you have 1 national championship and then 2 on our way to a third really bad season. Maybe you're just not the one. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
Yeah. See, I want to throw some water on it for you because I think it's kind of. I'm not gonna say it's not earned because you have missed the postseason 2 years in a row. But it seems to me like you are competitive against Texas A&M at Texas A&M. You did beat LSU 2 out of 3. Now we see what LSU is now, and
they have the curse.
I still think they're talented. You did go to Florida and 3 outs away from sweeping them, and so I do think that Mississippi State fans right now are letting this series against Ole Miss get out of hand. And the reason why I think this is because if Saturday night doesn't happen, if instead of with 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th, if that dang it, I can't ever. I'm so bad with names right now. It's really starting to bother me. But Ole Miss's first baseman, that line drive gets caught by the shortstop rather than being 2 inches past his glove, and you win instead of get walked off, then you don't care about Sunday.
I disagree because it's the culmination of the last 3 years. Like we've just like this feels like that moment because hang on,
saying, oh, that's 8 in a row, that's 9 in a row, whatever it is, you'd still be doing that.
Sure. Yeah. But I still I've not been high on Lemonis all year. And this feels like true. This feels like that moment, Drew, of the last 3 seasons where it's like we're trending along and this is the moment where we fall off the cliff. It just feels like we lost whatever momentum we had because we looked so bad and so unprepared. And we got embarrassed by Central Arkansas last week in the midweek. Like you don't lose a midweek to Central Arkansas. Like I get it. It's a midweek game, whatever. Like you're testing things, but this is 3 years, 3 seasons of an elite baseball program being awful, not even being competitive, just being bad, not making a regional. We're not even making freaking Hoover, man. And Mississippi State that baseball program is in Hoover every year at a minimum. And not much above that, you're hosting a regional. Like, this is unacceptable for one of college baseball's premier programs. It's a laughing stock in the SEC and has no business at my university. That's why I'm beating my chest to fire Lemonis, because it's a culmination of the body of work and just happened to lose to our rivals in an embarrassing way.
And I was having this talk with my wife, who is in her infancy in her Ole Miss baseball fandom, outside of our first year of marriage, or I guess our second year of marriage, when we won the College World Series, like, we've been bad. And so she was like, don't y'all make it to Hoover every year? And I was like, honey, that's not a goal. Like, that's expected.
That's expected.
12, the top 12 teams in the SEC go to Hoover. Ole Miss is expected to make the tournament. And that's a minimum. Your real expectation is to host.
Yeah.
Like, you need
a regional
to host
and a super
one
regional.
out of every 2 years. You need to host a regional.
Yes.
And that's where the expectation has fallen to the frustrating point, to where I think that for Mississippi State fans, this has kind of been a rude awakening, because despite the fact that you're still extremely competitive, you are so Ole Miss is 5-10, so you're 7-8 in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
You're 7-8 in the conference with a series against Auburn that's 2-10 or 2-13 or something like that.
And we still have Missouri looming, so
way.
there's things coming.
You're fine, but that's what I'm saying is, like, I'm okay with you wanting to fire Lemonis, but I'm not okay with anybody saying, like, screw this season, we don't have anything to play for.
We're still projected as a 2 seed in the Clemson Regional per D1 baseball, who usually is pretty spot on with that stuff. And so, like, we still have a lot to play for. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. Like, Lemonis clearly is showing he's not the guy. If we don't go out and just beat the brakes off of Auburn, we need a clean sweep. It's Super Bulldog weekend. We've got the spring game on Saturday. If we don't go beat the brakes off of Auburn this weekend in convincing fashion, follow that up with a convincing, at least, I think we play at Alabama, so we need to win at least 1, if not 2 of those games. Like, and then Missouri, like, there's Vanderbilt's in there, which is at Vandy. That's going to be a tough series to go pull anything out of. Like, you have to, like, if Lemonis wants any grace from anybody, I'm done. I'm like I'm like Pilot, man. My hands are washed at this man. But, like, if he wants any grace from any fans, like, you have to dominate Auburn this weekend. It cannot be competitive.
Yeah, conversely, if you look at the Ole Miss side, this weekend was a very nice change of pace for us. We came into the series 3-9. You left 5-10. I feel like we're way further behind than we were in 22. But around this time of year in 2022, when we made our run, is when we changed up our pitching order. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that this last 2 weeks, you've got really good stuff out of your Friday and Sunday guy. Riley Maddox has been really good on Friday. He just got outdueled by Kyle Steven or whatever his name is. Yeah. He got outdueled on Friday night. Mason Nichols was incredible Sunday for the second straight week. Arkansas got the best of him, just like they get the best of everybody. Last week. This week, he dominated Mississippi State on Sunday. We've got him as questionable going into this series this weekend. So Mississippi State loses a series and they get Auburn. Ole Miss wins a series and they're going to Tuscaloosa, who just took 2 out of 3 against Arkansas.
From Arkansas. Played great baseball this past weekend.
It's getting tougher, but hopefully you're kind of riding high. I'm really hoping that Mason Nichols, he's gotten some shoulder tightness after his start on Sunday. And so you really need him to come to get loosened up, at least give you a little bit on Sunday, because he's been so good. And so I feel like you've got something to be positive about. I'm still I don't know how we've got 3 catchers at Ole Miss and none of them can catch.
That's your job.
If Ole Miss has done one thing incredibly throughout the whole Mike Bianco coaching tenure, he's always had amazing catchers. Mike is a catcher. He identifies them well. He gets them to campus. One of the few Ole Miss opening day roster spots in the Major League Baseball is Nick Fortes for the Miami Marlins. He did not even catch at Ole Miss because Ole Miss had a better fielding catcher. Yeah. He played first base. And so that's this lineage. We went from him to Cooper Johnson to Hayden Dunhurst to last year you had Calvin Harris. I mean, you go all the way back to Stuart Turner, who caught for the Reds. I mean, you've always had an amazing catcher in Ole Miss. And so how it's been bungled this bad is frustrating. But if you can get your starting pitching worked out to a degree to where you're competitive on the mound to start every single game of the weekends, then you've got an opportunity to win. And so hopefully it starts there and it builds. We've really dug ourselves in a hole here. But hopefully baby steps turn into bigger steps, and we'll see. I'm not overly confident, but
we talked about it. So briefly want to touch on it. Scotty Scheffler's the best golfer in the world. He proved that on Sunday. I thought Colin Morikawa, who I was rooting for, I like that guy. He's a great guy, great advocate and ambassador for golf. When he birdied 8, I thought he's got a shot to kind of hang with him. And Scotty absolutely slammed the door on Sunday.
Pedal down.
And now he's got a new putting coach and a new putter. Like, he can actually putt now. And the only thing that was going to stop him on Sunday was his wife having their baby.
Right. There's no doubt about that. He was one of those, like, he had one major flaw in his game. And he had one thing that was keeping him from being the undoubted favorite to win every major, and that was his putting, and he figured that out, and he's won 2 out of the last 3 green jackets. He really put his foot on put his foot down, marble mouth, get it out, and just ended up winning by 4 strokes on Sunday when he went in with either tied or with a 1-stroke lead.
He had a 1-stroke lead to start the day. It was a 3-way tie at the turn, and he won by 4 strokes.
Yeah, I was really rooting for Homa. He did not have a good Sunday. Ended up tied for 3rd, but that's because the guys, Hogard, and Morikawa, and a lot of those people that had jumped above him birdied late in the, really going. I mean, bogeyed late, really going for it. So ended up with it tied for 3rd for Homa. I really like him. I want him to break through and win 1.
Same. I'm rooting for him this weekend. The RBC Heritage in my golf group chat with my buddies that we go on the golf trip with. I picked him. He's my pick this weekend. So Max, don't let me down. Go win this freaking RBC. Don't make me look like an idiot. Tommy Fleetwood was a popular pick. BB, what's up, buddy?
It was really nice to see Tiger have a good first 2 rounds, but then Saturday, a 10 over was disgusting.
But you imagine, you got the low AM guy. I think he's from Georgia Tech. Like Fat Perez with the long hair, big guy playing. He asked his 21-year-old buddy, "Hey man, will you come caddy for me at the Masters?" And then there's this great picture of him shaking hands with Tiger at the end of Sunday at the Masters, and he's just completely starstruck, just like mouth agape, just staring at Tiger Woods on the 18th green at Augusta, which is just, I mean, that's what you dream of, right? And you just that's why the Masters are so great. Even if you don't like golf, it's fun to watch. It's fun to see just the story, because there's always a story every year.
Allow me to be
Matsuyama, when it was Will Zalatoris, this year with the low AM, the guy playing with Tiger. There's always a story at the Masters.
Allow me to be the curmudgeon, the old curmudgeon. What I like most about viewing the Masters from my television is that everybody there is just in the moment because they don't allow phones. I love seeing the 18th green, everybody standing there and watching with their eyes. It is something that I'm a stickler of. Like, my wife gets on to me a lot. You don't ever take any pictures of me and the kids. I was like, because I'm looking at you, like I don't think about it. Like, I want to just enjoy it, not think about it. All right, let me go get a picture of it. And, I even caught it with she asked me to video the beauty pageant. Chloe come out on the stage in her dress, whatnot, and I videoed the whole thing. And then I just thought, I didn't actually use my eyes to watch that and the whole thing. I was like, so that's what I like about the Masters. More sporting events should do a no cell phone policy.
Couldn't agree more. We're anti-cell phone here on the $2 Sports Show. That's all we got for this week. Great show, Uncle Buck. Awesome, man. Great time. Great catching up. As sad as it is, I miss seeing you. I don't miss you any longer. I take back what I just said about missing you. If I could, I'm going to remove you from the stage here just so you keep that crap up. But thanks for being here, buddy. I enjoyed it. Listeners, thank y'all. If y'all are still here at the hour 15-minute mark, we love you. We appreciate y'all. Y'all are fantastic.
Join the Discord.
that join the Discord. It's probably just our mamas and significant others at this point. But thank y'all for being here as well. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter. Join the Discord. See us wherever you see us. See us live and in person. It doesn't matter. Hit us up. We'd love to catch up with our fans.
If you won the $2 Sports Show NCAA tournament bracket,
let us
know.
Pretty chalky. You're out there somewhere. I have an idea who it is. I think it's Luke, but if I'm not, I'll reach out to him, see if it's him. And if it's not, if it's you, pretty chalky, let us know. We want to get you some swag because you deserved it. You win it, but there are no refunds for the swag that you get.
Because with the $2 Sports Show, you always get what you pay for. See you guys on Friday.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.